and welcome to a beautiful day here at High Impact Television. It is the newspaper review and I am Esther Kalu. I'm glad to bring the newspaper review to you this morning. Yes, it is the 4th of November and so much has happened since the 1st of November 2021. If you're watching us in Nigeria, especially in Lagos, the story of the Ikoyi building collapse has been on the front lines of every page of every newspaper. But that's not all. Also, the Anambra elections coming up has drawn a lot of attention, both from the security aspect. The IGP, the Inspector General of Police, has made a statement this morning in relation to the Anambra gubernatorial elections coming up just this weekend, and also many other conversations on the newspaper this morning. That's why we're here. We're going to span through the Punch newspaper to the Guardian, the Vanguard, and then to Star newspaper in Kenya, Standard Digital, and then to College Times, Times UK, and the Washington Post. But before we delve into the dailies, we're joined via phone call with Emeka Nwatu, a public affairs analyst. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Esther.
Yes.
Good morning, viewers and listeners.
Thanks for joining us. On the review
Thanks
this morning, we have quite a number of stories, and I'd like us to start with the one that has to do with security in Anambra State. The statement coming from the Inspector General of Police talking about how the security presence there is not to intimidate the voters. How do you find that particular statement?
Okay, good morning, everyone, again. Yeah, so the Anambra elections is a very critical one for Nigeria and for the Southeast. So election ordinarily should be a situation where we celebrate our democracy, more like a festival. It's not supposed to be a situation whereby we begin to banter over whether or not we should have security presence or not. So, but I think in that it is perhaps because of the security situation in Southeast now that may have one way or the other prompted such deployment. However, security is the policing in election has a best practice, have the standard,
Okay.
So yeah, so police officers are supposed to stay very far away where voters are supposed to come and cast their votes, and also they are not even supposed to hold arms like guns and all of that, so that to not give the voters that impression or that intimidation, that perception that the election is all about war or crisis. So more so, I want to clearly state that the election will be very peaceful. We are calling on everyone who is a stakeholder in that process, and even all the agitators to embrace peace, shift their swords, and give us a very peaceful election.
Okay.
Well, the police is not there to should not be there to dominate the community like we heard the CP in Anambra say, but they should just allow voters to be free, and they should also be just to all the stakeholders too. Thank you.
All right. I'd like to ask also, in connection to the, the move or the clamor for electronic voting, how do you see this as to, helping with security challenges at polling units?
Okay. So yeah, the clamor for electronic voting is in the best place because we are moving with technology, we are moving with the trend, So it will give us a situation, particularly now we are talking about transmission. Let's hope that let's even include electronic voting. So it will give us a situation or a narrative where we would not necessarily need to come to particular voting points. Rather, we would stay home. So in that situation, the process would be less there will not even be perhaps need for security presence in any way, so that it would help save cost and save lives in the moving forward. So that process is in good order, and that is what we want now for Nigeria
All right,
in our elections.
let's move away from Anambra and come to the general aspect of the 2023 presidency. And we have a report on the news this morning on the Punch newspaper specifically saying 2023 presidency, Northern elders make a U-turn to work with other regions. I mean, how did you find that news? Because this clamor for unity has been a statement that has been on for a very long time, and seeing that it looks like an organic decision to turn around and say, you know what, we are going to work with other regions. I mean, from the Northern Elders Forum here making this kind of statements, what do you perceive the future would look like for the 2023 presidency?
Well, also, I want to state clearly before I make my intervention is that no region in this country can win elections or can decide the fate of elections or the presidency without consulting or without carrying along the other region. The laws are so clear that you cannot win election and from a particular region, say from the north, without votes from the south, from the south, as it were. So, well, the call is in good faith, but ordinarily, I don't think any region in this country should decide how our elections should go, because ordinarily it is the people who should decide the elections, as it were. But you would know that elections in Nigeria has always been, we have a political history of zoning. We have a political history whereby one area and test power, and then it shifts to the other area. So I am not calling for zoning of the election process. For 2023,
Okay.
we want to have a situation whereby the best candidate will emerge. The best candidate will, because if the power was in the south, I believe those northern elders would have been calling for shift to the north, and they will be so they will be so particular or vehement about it. So that's not what we should be calling for now. We should be calling for a situation whereby the best person would emerge.
All right.
And then it doesn't matter the region the person comes from.
Do you feel that this particular U-turn is going to reduce the clamor and the statements that is linked to the feeling of marginalization, especially in some regions that are stating that they want to be involved also in decisions that have to do with, the whole country?
It is good. It is good that the Northern Elders Forum are coming up with this now, because although there are so many feelings, or there are so many agitations hitting up the country already, so that position they have taken, if genuinely they have taken that position, it would go a long way. But it shouldn't just end there. It should trickle down to political parties, because they are the ones that would decide who at the end of the day would fly the tickets or the cards of their various parties.
I would bust in briefly. How do you mean that it should trickle down? What do you want parties or stakeholders on the other angles to do? How do you want them as well to, make their own contribution to the progress of the nation?
Well, in the light of the presidency for 2023, you can see that most of these political parties are beginning to microzone or zone their presidency. So they should not do that. They should throw it open. The major parties, the big parties, should not say that it is going to the north, and then they would come up with a consensus just the way they are already doing in their primaries or their conventions leading up to the 2023 election. They should throw it open. They should not they should not dictate for Nigerians. Election is all about is for Nigerians, not all about politicians. So they should allow Nigerians to decide. That is why, in this also light, I'm calling for direct primaries, because that would be, in a way, that in itself would allow Nigerians who are obviously members of political parties to come out and vote the best person, their choice for the election. So the political parties have a role to play, but with good regulations, with like the amendments of the Electoral Act and the Constitution,
Okay.
it would streamline and make them play by the rules, not this handpicking and consensus that they are already doing everywhere now.
All right.
So the power should return to Nigerians.
All right. Thanks
That
for
is democracy.
that particular review on politics. But enough of politics now. Let's look at a major story in Lagos State. Just on Monday, you've heard about the Ikoyi building collapse, and it is not a natural disaster. And a lot of people are coming to say that things like this can be avoided, and we can be, proactive instead of reactive. Here we have a statement from the governor of Lagos State saying mistakes made on all angles. Now, the matter, what we're talking about, has already happened. How do you think it can be avoided, or how do you think this situation can be managed so that we don't have recurrent issues like this anymore?
Okay, so on this regard, I want to say that it is very unfortunate that we find ourselves in this kind of condition again. I mean, it is a setback on our infrastructural development in Nigeria. We're a situation whereby we make 2 steps forward and then we're making 5 steps backward. We've had this in the past, and it shouldn't continue like this. However, I am aware that the governor has taken some steps, like the sack of the GMD of the Building Control Agency, and also setting up a committee to probe what actually happened in that place. So, but that is not that. It shouldn't just be the normal narratives. This particular probe should be all inclusive. Because we want to put an end to this. We want to put an end to this. I saw a report whereby the developers initially said that they withdrew from the process for grounds of integrity and all. We want to unravel or unearth why we should have such kind of a situation. I mean, there was a plan for a particular building, and then for certain reasons, whatever, I mean, they are not keeping to that standard. So let us know what led to that, and then the probe should have a timeline. Let us, and it should be very urgent, because this is a ghastly occurrence. It's very fatal, and we should not politicize it. I'm already seeing most people are already coming to make comments surrounding it. It shouldn't be like that. Let there be an independent forensic report, or some kind of a probe into this, and so that all those who are culpable would be brought to book. This is human life. It is sacred. It is sacrosanct. We should not trade it with levity. So I want to believe that that the governor would not want something like this to continue, because it is already giving the impression that Lagos State is not serious with the lives of his people. So I want everybody, all stakeholders, particularly on the side of the government, to really come out clean and ensure that we get to the end of these things, and we unravel whatever may have caused the challenges.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving us your views, Emeka Watu, on the newspaper review this morning.
Thank you so much, Esther, for having me.
Do enjoy a great day ahead.
All right, thank you. Have to send me.
Well, that's as much as we can take on the Washington Post, on the Times UK, on the College Times, the Standard Digital, the Star newspaper, and all of the Nigerian papers we had this morning. The good news is you can get more of this information on the news around the globe or pick up any of these papers wherever you are watching us from. My name is Esther Kalu. Do stay tuned for news around the globe and for the 3 p.m. news, for the 9 p.m. news rather. I'm Esther Kalu. Thanks for watching.